bows are alright, right, but as sorcerers we don't need the help of physical arrows to deal death from a distance. But we can learn something from bows. Also, is it safe to just fire arrows randomly off a cliff? Okay, my bad. Hello, my fellow tarnished. Welcome today, as I have a couple little neat sorcery tips, tricks, discoveries that I have happened upon through rigorous testing. And I do mean rigorous. I honestly don't know why I felt the need to emphasize that. It's not actually that rigorous, but it is neat. Okay, first and foremost, what we can learn from bows is a little trick that certainly isn't unique to Elden Ring, but one worth repeating and one that I don't see a lot of people actually know about. If you fire a spell, it kind of almost generically goes somewhere in front of you, vaguely where your camera's pointing. So if you're not locked onto an enemy, actually hitting them accurately with a long-range spell is somewhat of a nightmare. However, a bow can solve this little ditty of a problem, because if you equip one, you don't even need the stats for it, because, I mean, who would have the stats for a filthy dex or strength weapon? Come on now, primeval current for life. If you pull out a bow and then zoom in aim, then aim at something, and as long as once you zoom out of it, you don't move your camera, then switch to your sorcery, it will exactly go where you were just aiming on your bow. Which means if you have a long enough range sorcery, you can snipe people and enemies and so on and so forth from miles away accurately, and that's really quite fun. It's niche, sure, but definitely does come in handy every now and then. Just wanted to kind of throw that one out there. However, there is a further lesson to be learnt here from bows, and that's the one that really matters. And strictly speaking, it's not actually one that's specifically to do with a bow, but more a accompanying talisman that generally is found wherever a bow is. The Arrow's Reach Talisman, increasing the effective distance of arrows and bolts. However, did you know that this affected sorceries too?
Inconceivable!
Oh, what sorceries does it affect? I hear you shout into the void. Well, one prime example is a very much old, reliable, effective one in the form of Rock Sling. A sorcery then that has always been solid as a rock, and now just got that much better. So you see, if I go maximum distance from this poor unfortunate test subject, and I fire my Rock Sling, it's already a very long-range sorcery, there's no doubt about that. But notice how one of the rocks dropped away and didn't quite reach. Well, if we equip our Arrow's Reach Talisman and repeat the experiment, you'll notice that all three rocks confidently, convincingly make their way to the target. You can see this again by having the talisman on, firing it. All three generally land around the kind of, tiled area of the path. If we take it off and do it again, all three generally land around the area just before it. That's just kind of grass and dirt. So that's really, really cool and gives you access to massively long-range barrages. Like, it's really funny. Like, I killed this assassin, and I can't even really see him properly the entire time. I think he's in a bush miles away, just getting beaten up by rocks. It's really quite good. But it also applies to another sorcery, and this one might arguably be even more useful because it applies in a much stronger fashion. Ambush Shard. This night or invisibility sorcery, which annoyingly isn't actually boosted by the Staff of Loss, which boosts invisibility sorcery. I have no idea why. You can also, of course, boost the Rock Sling with the Meteorite Staff, but back to Ambush Shard. This summons a little glintstone pebble-esque projectile behind an enemy, and then it hits them in the back. Very convenient for getting around guards or for catching people off guard, because, they don't tend to actually see it coming. But it's got a fairly short range. This range here that I will now mark with a beautiful glowing pebble. So, it's okay, right? But if I put the Arrow's Reach Talisman on, well, look how far back I can go and still actually hit. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Like, it's massively far away and much more, appropriate for something called Ambush Shard. If I put a pebble on the Sans Talisman and With Talisman spot, left and right respectively, you can see just how much range this talisman adds to this sorcery. which is great. When you just use it on like a pack of enemies, I mean, it looks like they're just randomly having spontaneous heart attacks and falling over. I am so far away from them, and it's so satisfying. The same can be said in PvP, and this is definitely something I wanted to convey to you guys because, yeah, it's a lot of fun and very effective. Annoyingly, the arrow's reach...
Stop right there, criminal scum!
Talisman doesn't affect the one actual arrow bow sorceries, which is a little bit of a shame. I did test a lot, and I can't really find any other sorcery that it works on that's kind of a big deal or worthwhile, but I would love you guys to go forth and test too, as I'm sure there is some sort of combination here that really does kind of sparkle, as it were. But it's definitely very cool and weird that it does work like that, and it's weird how specific the sorceries that do work. Kind of makes me feel like it might be a bug, but at the same time it's not that an egregious one, and just gives a bit of utility. The arrow's reach talisman actually works on a surprising amount of non-bow, crossbow-based things, so there's definitely more to be experimented with here. In any case, where do we actually get our Arrow's Reach talisman from? Well, Arrow's Reach, which is from the Stormgate back in Limgrave, you can either go there the normal way, or you can creatively do what I like to do, which is horse parkour down into here and grab it from the chest, whichever works for you. That's quite nice. And that then is, as they say, that. I will add, though, that the most effective use for both these range increases is definitely PvP. Obviously, around in the world, you can get the jump on some bosses and such, and while clearing dungeons, kill a lot of enemies from really far away, and that's nice, but in an enclosed normal boss room, it's not the biggest of deals. But in PvP, you can really get some long-range kills, and if someone doesn't know you're approaching them, I mean, you really can be the assassin with the Ambush Shard, and that's really satisfying. In fact, Rock Sling is generally just one of the better PvP spells, because the tracking on it is really good, the speed is really good, the range is really good, the damage is really good. It's just kind of a really obnoxious thing to have spammed against you, so I definitely really like this. Boost up your Rock Sling, your gravity sorcery as much as possible, hit it against people from miles away, and have an absolutely fantastic time. And as a final little tip from me, a little known fact is that Rock Sling, you know, you're throwing rocks, which means it does physical damage, not magic damage, so magic boosting things don't actually boost the damage of it. Physical boosting things do, like your Blood Boil Aromatic, like your Flame Grant Me Strength, like your Exalted Flesh, so that might be why it's not doing as much damage as perhaps you would like it to. But in any case, yeah, there you go. I hope you have found this very much useful. Like if you have, subscribe for more. Until we meet again, consider supporting the future of this channel on Patreon down below. A good
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.